Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft. Today I'm going to unbox this Well MB03A. Hi guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this video today, please do consider giving me a like and a subscribe. It really will be helping me out, and it makes sure that you know when my new videos come out. Before we get started, just a quick word on safety. I am doing this in a safe environment. I have got my eye protection on, even though you can't see it. I've made sure that this is completely unloaded. There's no ammo with it or near it, and I've made sure that there's nobody around either that could be in any sort of danger. It's always good to be safe before you're doing these sort of things. So today we've got another unboxing from our recent Taiwan Gun order, and it is the Well MB03A. So you guys voted that this was the one that you wanted third, ahead of the after the CM05 and the 515. Now we've got this, and it's just the CM028 to go next. So this is a VSR clone from Well, and these are very cheap. I'll put a link down below to Taiwan Gun's website to this specific model. And the box itself, is very plain, like you would get with a SEMA box. You've got obviously a plain box, just telling you the model, that it's a museum piece, apparently a refined museum piece. You get the Taiwan Gun sticker, and just I assume that's one of their stock labels, and that's literally all there is on the box. So we'll get straight into having a look at this. So it comes in two parts, just because it is so long. To keep it a little bit shorter, split it in two parts, that's fine. So straight out of the top of the box we get a target and a little bit of safety information. This is Taiwan Gun's standard included sheet that just gives you some information. You've then got your assembly diagram that shows you how it goes together, although that is obviously the wrong rifle in there. You get a little bit of a hop-up adjustment and a little bit about a user guide, and that is everything to get you started. So there it is. Now what I'm going to say is there's some fair weight to that. I mean, a sort of disclaimer to myself, I am not a massive sniper person, and there are people that know airsoft snipers far better than I know airsoft snipers. Sort of what I know is historic stuff. I used to work on them quite a bit for a couple of my friends who used to run snipers years and years ago, and I've not really touched them. I don't personally have the patience to sit still long enough to be able to aim and take fire. That's why I always like my assault rifles, particularly AKs. So it comes in two pieces. So you've got your stock there, which it's quite weighty. It feels like there is some weights in the stock just to keep it solid. You've got a front little riz rail there to mount a bipod on. Now that's loose at the minute because there will be a stock screw that goes in through there to secure the rest of the receiver down. You've got a front sling loop and a rear sling loop that wobble a little bit. I know some people remove them completely, some people just tape them down with duct tape and things, but it feels sturdy. There's no discernible movement. There's no sort of creaking or anything. You've got the mag release there, which is a really nice. The fact that the button is it's not depressed into the body, it's actually sticking out, makes it easy to get your finger on and release the magazine. And I'm hoping it gives you a nice, easy magazine release, because particularly the TM ones were renowned at times for, a lot of people. My friend who used to run a TM one that he'd modified heavily, he used to have to put tape around his mags, and he used to have to press the button and pull on the sort of mag holder tape to pull it out, because it just didn't work properly. So there's the stock. You get a rather suspect quality cleaning rod that is literally just a plastic stick, a silver plastic stick. With that, you get, which I think is a really nice addition, 3 mags in there, and I believe the literature says they're 25 round mags. So you've got 75 rounds there to be shooting with, plus you get a speed loader for about, I think that's about 100-ish rounds, 120 rounds, I believe, thereabouts. So you've got more than enough ammo than a sniper will need in most games. Unless you're running some sort of milsim where you're playing continuously, you might want to carry more, but then they often limit ammo anyway that you can carry at any one time. So 3 mags is really useful to get with a rifle. I know that the TM one comes with one. You get your little bag of questionable quality BBs, which are possibly just about good enough to use to chrono it. You get your trigger guard that you will partially use to screw it all together, and then you get a couple of little tools in there as well. So you've got a little Phillips head screwdriver. You get 2 different sized Allen keys, which are for the different bolts and things like that. You then also get the remaining 2 bolts to help you screw it all together, and you get a little spring. Now, it is worth noting that these screws are different sizes and they go in very specific places, and if you get them in the wrong place, you're going to damage stroke break the actual gun itself. So first thing I'm going to do is, for now, I'm just going to drop that screw out a little bit, and I'm going to take the trigger guard and I'm going to put this on here. So we're just going to slot it over and click it into there, and that's as simple as it is. And that screw there will just get my larger Phillips head screwdriver. That bolt will just screw into there. So now that we've got this secured down, we can fit it into the rest of the receiver. So we're just going to drop the hop unit in first, and that goes. You will see in the stock here that there is a cutout here, and that cutout there, if you can see it there properly, yeah, is for the hop adjustment lever to sit in. You also have just figured out what the spare spring is for. The little spring there that came in is to sit in there, that helps push the mag out once you press the mag release. So we're just going to drop that in place there. I bet I need to drop it in backwards first. I'm going to have to drop it in backwards first. So I've put it in at the back, and it's going to have to go back. It's a bit of a tight fit, but it will go in, and then the hop unit, as you're pushing back, will click in like that, and that's clicked it in. So there's kind of like a hooking system that hooks it in at the back here and then clicks it down, and the hop unit will push against a front brace initially, and then it clicks in nice and clean. So next thing is, I believe the short screw goes to the front, and it locates itself. There we go. I'm going to use the large Allen key to adjust that. There we go. So that's, and then the longer key screw goes in at the back here. And I'm just going to tighten that down, same Allen key, and there it is, fully assembled. So you can see in there, I'll just pull the cocking handle back a little bit. You can see it's withdrawing the air nozzle there, so you got what looks like a brass air nozzle. I will do a full disassembly on this in a separate video, and what looks like a clear hop rubber, but that might just, I could be wrong on that it's sitting in. So if we click the magazine in, that clicks in quite nicely, and I press the button. I don't know if you noticed that, but it did actually push it out a little bit, so it does help the mag to come out a little bit. So let's just put that in again. It does pop it out a little bit. That's quite nice actually, that it helps bring it out. And obviously with the divots cut in, the shaping in the mags, it helps you to get your fingers even gloved to get in there and remove that. Now with that together, that feels absolutely rock solid. Impressively so. Obviously there's no iron sights on this, you just get a rail to mount your own scope, and I don't have a scope at the minute, but I will get one at some point to put on it, particularly if I decide to keep it. But then again, as I've just said, I don't really have the patience to sit still long enough. Now, out of the box, this is reportedly doing about 420 FPS. So unfortunately, we are still in the UK in the COVID lockdown, so I'm unable to go out and shoot it anywhere yet. My intended plan is to do a big live video one day where I just take all the stuff I've currently got and just literally film shooting it, setting the hop, commenting on sort of distance, setting up a bit of a range. If that's something you'd like me to see do, please drop a comment below. So I'm just going to cock it. Now, that's a relatively light trigger pull. What I will say is I've pushed it, it's relatively smooth, but as I've come back forward, it kind of sticks a bit there, and then you've got to push it in a little bit. But the handle clicks into position quite nicely and firmly. you got your safety there, locking on, so I can't pull the trigger, and now the safety's off, and if I pull the trigger, it makes a relatively nice sound. It's a bit quieter than I remember VSRs being in general, but the trigger pull, the cocking handle pull is not as heavy as I would expect it to be, which probably keeps it in line with the 420 FPS rating that it's coming out with. So I'll just give it a quick chrono and I'll be back in a second. So I am back from the chrono, and it is pretty much true to its word. So I've done a full magazine, 25 BBs, all through the chrono, as well as doing a mag full of 2.2s through it beforehand, just to make sure that it's sort of settled in a little bit. I would show you that, but it was in my garage, and my wife would kill you if you saw how much of a mess it is, if I let you see how much of a mess it is in there. So I did 25.2 gram BBs through it without chrono, and then I did 25.2 gram BBs through it with the chrono. The highest was 425 FPS, the lowest was 419 FPS. So over 25 shots, it pretty much was 420 FPS on the money, which I was really happy with. Two things I have got for this is I did buy the 500 FPS upgrade kit, which gives you a metal piston and a metal spring guide and an upgraded spring, because I believe the included spring guide and piston in here are plastic, which is probably not going to last an awful long time. But we'll see about that. I also got a 6.03 tight bore barrel and an upgraded hop unit as well. So at some point, once I've shot this as it is out of the box, I will do the upgrade. The one mistake I have made is that I bought a barrel without even checking the barrel length. Please, if you are ever going to buy a barrel for something and in a barrel, please check the correct length first, because I bought it and the one I've got comes out the end quite a distance. So I've now got a silencer adapter, suppressor adapter coming in for the front, so that I can run the tight bore barrel into a suppressor and hide it a little bit. I did do some pre-checking, and there are barrel spacers already down the barrel to help me keep it centralised and stop it wobbling about and things while it's down there, and those are quite handy to have, particularly if you're looking for consistency of shot, which when you are a sniper, shot consistency is a must, because you're going to fire 1 BB in the time it takes them to fire about 30. So keep that in mind, that you want as much stability from one shot to the next as possible. So in all, for its price, it's an absolute bargain. And even if you only run it for a few months before you start putting upgrades into it, it is going to be a great entry point sniper rifle. And if you look online, there's a wealth of reviews where some people slate them because they are a little bit cheap inside, but a lot of people absolutely rave them because they are VSR compatible, TM VSR compatible. And that means the world of parts that are available for this are absolutely enormous. Not just internally, externally, you can get a whole wealth of parts to go in it. If you are looking to try and get into the world of airsoft sniping, I can't think of a much better way to get into it, just because there is so little to have to venture in terms of finances. It costs you so little to buy this. We're talking like just over £50 from Taiwan Gun, plus your postage. Obviously, I will put a link below. What a great entry thing. What I would say is, if you are going to try sniping, it is very different to an assault rifle. You are probably going to have a minimum engagement range. You will need some sort of backup, like a pistol or a very small AEG, because otherwise, if somebody's within that engagement range, you can't fire upon them. So your options are either stay where you are, don't get seen, hopefully, or potentially get shot, or you're going to have to just run away. If you don't know your distance as well, or you're bad at judging distances, I would say steer away from sniping until you can judge your distances effectively. Just a sort of safety warning. But in terms of this piece of kit, I'm quite impressed with it. It feels really nice to hold, it's really comfortable in the hand, the shaping of it is really good. Oops, smacking my light fitting. It's got a nice weight to it, but it's not overly heavy. It doesn't feel like you're carrying something that will sort of hurt your arms later on into a day's play and things like that. It is, like I said, a good piece of kit. I do think that the stock, it's already got little rubbing marks from just being in the polystyrene box. So I would say it isn't going to stay pristine for long. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because we like our sort of our kit to look like it's been to a natural war zone, it's been used and things like that. So, you know, a lot of people do paint them up. They do amazing camo paint jobs on there. They cover them up in sort of different camo wraps and things like that. So I will say until I'll reserve full judgment until I've seen it fire out of the box, but I do see good things about it in general. What I will say is, out of the box, for the money, you cannot go wrong, because it gives you a really, really cheap entry point into sniping. Even if you run it for 2 or 3 games, decide you don't like it, you know, just over £50, you can't really argue with that kind of price to get yourself into sniping. I would love, or I am looking forward to, getting this out and trying this out on the range and being able to see what kind of accuracy and range I can put a BB out to. Slightly disappointed that the sort of, you know, I remember sniper rifles of all, you know, that would go all the way back in smooth. That might be to do with, I'll justify that. That might be to do with the O-ring on the front of the piston, maybe sticking on something. I'm not entirely sure what could be causing that. At the minute, it doesn't seem to cause an issue, and it might not cause an issue. But it's just sort of obviously something to be aware of is with this one. That's what happens. That said, the fact that it's TM compatible makes it absolutely fantastic, and means that you've got a world of upgrade parts. I know a lot of people remove the hop unit and they change it to one of the ones that can be adjusted with a little Allen key and all sorts of things, and they put more consistent hop arms in there and things like that. So that's obviously so many options that you can do to get that ultimate shot out of your sniper rifle. So I hope that's been useful to you. If you have enjoyed it or you have found it useful, please do like and subscribe. I will leave the usual photos, and I will do a disassembly video of it in future so you can see what it looks like inside. And I will see you next time. Bye.